Today's story is The Heart of Xal'Vera. Chapter 1, The Call to Adventure. In the bustling city of Eldenford, where the streets buzzed with the sounds of laughter and the scent of freshly baked bread filled the air, lived a renowned explorer named Thomas Gray. With tousled brown hair, sharp green eyes, and an insatiable curiosity, Thomas was well known for his thrilling adventures across the globe. However, despite his many conquests, he felt a yearning for a new challenge, a mystery that would spark the thrill of discovery once more. One sunny afternoon, while sifting through the dusty shelves of an old bookstore, Thomas stumbled upon a tattered map hidden between the pages of a forgotten journal. The map depicted a long-lost city called Xal'Vera, rumored to be hidden deep within the dense jungles of the Yaluma region. Legends spoke of ancient ruins filled with treasures and secrets waiting to be unveiled. His heart raced with excitement as he traced the routes marked on the map with his finger. This was it, the adventure he had been waiting for. As he prepared for his journey, he knew he could not go alone. He needed someone who understood the treacherous jungles and could guide him through the labyrinth of vines and ancient trees. After a few inquiries, he found his answer in the form of a local guide named Lila. With her keen sense of direction and knowledge of the jungle, she was the perfect companion for this expedition. Chapter 2, Into the Jungle. The following week, Thomas and Lila set off, armed with supplies and the mysterious map. As they boarded a rickety boat that would take them to the edge of the jungle, Thomas felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. "Are you ready for this, Lila?" he asked, glancing at her. "More than ready," she replied, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "Xal'Vera is a place of wonders, but we must tread carefully. Many have tried to find it, and not all have returned." With a nod, Thomas steeled himself for the challenges ahead. The boat chugged along the river, the sound of water splashing against the hull echoing in the stillness. As they approached the jungle, the air grew thick with humidity, and the vibrant green canopy loomed above them like a protective shield. Once ashore, they took their first steps into the jungle. The sounds of chirping birds and rustling leaves surrounded them. Lila expertly navigated through the thick underbrush, pointing out medicinal plants and hidden paths. Thomas, filled with wonder, took notes and sketched drawings of the flora and fauna they encountered. However, as they ventured deeper, the atmosphere shifted. Shadows danced between the trees, and an unsettling feeling crept over Thomas. "Do you feel that?" he whispered to Lila. "Yes," she replied, her voice low. "We must be cautious. There are stories of others who seek the treasures of Xal'Vera for themselves, those who would do anything to stop us." Chapter 3, The First Challenge. Days passed, and the jungle became both their friend and foe. They faced challenges at every turn: swollen rivers, slippery slopes, and hidden pitfalls. One afternoon, as they climbed a steep hill, they heard a rustling sound behind them. Thomas turned, just in time, to see a group of shadowy figures emerging from the trees. "Quick! We need to hide," Lila urged, pulling Thomas behind a large boulder. They crouched low, their hearts pounding in their chests. The figures approached, clad in dark clothing and armed with makeshift weapons. Thomas's pulse quickened. "Who are they?" he whispered. "Treasure hunters," Lila said, her voice barely above a whisper. "They want Xal'Vera for themselves. We must be smart if we want to escape." As the hunters passed by, Thomas felt a surge of determination. "We can't let them find the city first. We need to outsmart them." Lila nodded. "We can set a trap. If we create a diversion, we might be able to slip away unnoticed." With a plan in place, they gathered branches and leaves, crafting a makeshift barricade along the path. They then moved to a vantage point and waited for the right moment. When the hunters drew near, Thomas threw a rock in the opposite direction, creating a loud noise. The hunters turned, their curiosity piqued. As they moved away to investigate, Thomas and Lila dashed past, hearts racing, adrenaline fueling their escape. They made it to a hidden grove where they could catch their breath. That was brilliant, Lila exclaimed, her face flushed with excitement. But we must keep moving. They will come back. Chapter 4: The Ruins of Xal'Vera. After several more days of navigating the jungle, marked by both peril and beauty, Thomas and Lila finally stood before the ancient ruins of Xal'Vera. The sight took their breath away. Towering stone structures, covered in vines and moss, rose majestically from the ground, whispering tales of a long-forgotten civilization. "Can you believe it?" Thomas breathed, his eyes wide with wonder. "We found it." Lila smiled, but her expression quickly turned serious. "Remember, we are not alone. We need to be cautious as we explore." As they ventured deeper into the ruins, they discovered intricate carvings that depicted the city's history, stories of its people, their triumphs, and their downfall. Thomas took notes feverishly, his mind racing with the possibilities of what they might uncover. Suddenly, they heard a noise, a crunching of leaves. Thomas turned, and there they were again, the treasure hunters, now closing in on them. "We have to find a way to protect ourselves," Lila said, her voice tense. Thomas scanned the area, and spotted a narrow passageway leading into the heart of the ruins. "This way. We can lose them in the maze of the ruins." They sprinted toward the passage, the sounds of their pursuers growing louder behind them. As they entered the darkness of the stone corridor, the air turned cool and still. The hunters followed closely, their voices echoing ominously. Chapter 5: The Maze of Secrets. Inside the ruins, the passage twisted and turned, creating a labyrinthine maze. Thomas and Lila moved quickly, relying on their instincts to navigate the darkness. Torches flickered along the walls, casting eerie shadows that danced around them. "We need to find a way to outsmart them," Thomas said, panting. "If we can find a hidden chamber, we might be able to trap them." Lila nodded, her eyes scanning the walls for clues. "Look. There are symbols carved here. They might lead us to something important." Following the symbols, they found themselves in a large chamber adorned with murals depicting the city's history. In the center stood a pedestal with an ancient artifact, a shimmering crystal that pulsed with a soft light. "That must be the Heart of Xal'Vera," Thomas whispered in awe. "It's said to hold the city's power." Just then, the hunters burst into the chamber, their eyes widening at the sight of the crystal. "Get away from it," one of them shouted, brandishing a weapon. Thomas and Lila exchanged glances, adrenaline coursing through their veins. "We can't let them take it," Lila exclaimed. Thinking quickly, Thomas grabbed a nearby stone and hurled it at the wall, creating a loud crash. The hunters turned, momentarily distracted. "Now," he shouted, grabbing Lila's hand as they darted toward a hidden exit behind the pedestal. They emerged into the jungle, breathless, but exhilarated. They had escaped, but the hunters were still on their trail. Chapter 6: The Final Stand. As they ran through the dense foliage, Thomas and Lila knew they had to confront the hunters once and for all. They found a clearing, where the sunlight broke through the canopy. It was now or never. "We can use the Heart of Xal'Vera to protect ourselves," Lila suggested, her eyes fierce with determination. With the crystal in hand, Thomas felt a surge of energy. "Together, we can create a barrier. It will protect us and keep them at bay." As the hunters approached, Thomas and Lila focused their energy on the crystal. A brilliant light erupted, forming a protective shield around them. The hunters, stunned by the sudden brightness, stumbled back, fear etched on their faces. "Stop! We only want the treasure," one of them shouted, but Thomas stood firm. "This treasure belongs to the people of Xal'Vera, not to greedy hands," he declared. "We will protect it." With a final burst of energy, the shield expanded, pushing the hunters back further into the jungle. Thomas and Lila watched as they retreated, realizing they had won. Chapter 7: A New Beginning. After the confrontation, Thomas and Lila returned to the ruins, their hearts filled with a sense of accomplishment. They had discovered the Heart of Xal'Vera, and protected it from those who sought to exploit its power. "Thank you for believing in this adventure," Thomas said, looking at Lila with gratitude. "I couldn't have done it without you." Lila smiled, her eyes shining. "We make a great team, Thomas. This is just the beginning of our adventures." As they prepared to leave the ruins, Thomas felt a deep sense of peace. This journey had taught him the importance of courage, resilience, and friendship. He knew that as long as they had each other, there were countless mysteries waiting to be uncovered. With the map safely tucked away, and the Heart of Xal'Vera shining brightly, they set off into the jungle, ready for whatever new challenges lay ahead. The spirit of exploration was alive within them, and the world was full of wonders yet to be discovered. And so, their adventures continued, filled with excitement, bravery, and the promise of new horizons.